If your photos feel a bit flat or you're always avoiding harsh lighting because it's tricky to work with, I get it. I used to do the exact same. I avoided shadows, stayed in soft lighting, and basically played it safe where I could. But there's one setting that's completely changing how I shoot, and it's probably hiding in your camera right now. So today I'm gonna show you what that setting is, when to use it, and how to set it up in your camera. By the way, if you're new here, my name's Maddie. I am a travel and hospitality photographer. I run a free newsletter every week called Captured, where I cover tips like this, photography mindset shifts, and breakdowns about gear. You can sign up for free below. I've been writing this newsletter for a few years now, so there's plenty to get through if you want to go take a look. So the setting I'm talking about today is photometry, or metering mode, depending on the camera brand that you've got. And once I understood how it worked, my images got more depth, more mood, and I still had the warmth and color that I really wanted to keep. But before I explain what this setting is and how to use it, let me show you an example of this setting in action. Here are two shots I took in the exact same location with the exact same equipment. You can clearly see the harsh lighting going on in the scene, but you can also see some major differences. Achieving this difference all came down to how I metered the light when I took the photos. And right now you're probably metering light exactly how I used to, so let me show you the different options you have and help you decide the best one for you when you're out shooting. Okay, so on most cameras, you're gonna have three main options. First, we've got multi. This is the most common metering mode and is likely what your camera is set to right now. This approach averages the whole frame, so all of your shadows and your highlights are gonna be exposed for correctly. This is great for different lighting conditions, run and gun situations, or if you're just starting out in photography in general. Next, we've got center weighted. This mode focuses on the middle of your scene to determine where to take the exposure. I haven't used this setting too much if I'm being totally honest, but this is a great option for portraits, and if you want a little bit more control over your light metering, then multi. And lastly, we've got spot metering, and this is the exact setting that's changing how I approach photography. See, with spot metering, I am taking back control of how my camera meters light in the scenes that I'm photographing. So now my camera only meters light from where I tell it to. And although this does require a lot more attention and me to slow down quite a lot, it is teaching me how to shoot intentionally and to look for light in my compositions. So now that you've got an idea of where the metering modes are in your camera, let's head out and take some photos so you can see how it works in the field. Okay guys, I've just found this really beautiful spot that's going to show you exactly how photometry works in the field. So I'm going to flip it around and you can see here we've got a lot of highlights over here and then a whole lot of shadows over here. The Osmo is exposing quite evenly for all of them, but I'm going to show you now how it looks like on the camera. You can see here that the camera is metering light really differently. So there you go, it's going off the background and then we lose it there. So with a photo like this, I'm definitely going to try and get this kind of lighting like that. The different scenes are going to require different photometry modes. So like, it's not like you just pick one and stick with that. Different scenes are going to require, like this one right now, I'm noticing spot is going to work, but there's going to be occasions like the same location in different light, that multi is going to work. So just understanding the difference and seeing that there is a possible change is really key at getting different looking photos. One of the easiest ways to lock your exposure is the AEL button, so the auto exposure lock. So that's going to make sure that once you do find, that's going to make sure that once you do find the exposure that works for you, you can actually reframe after that. So you can see here how not really happy with this exposure. But now after finding the exposure, I'm going to hit the lock button and then I have my photometry right here under my menu. I've got a bunch of other things like image size, touchscreen, film sims, like autofocus modes, but having the photometry here means I can just cycle through really quickly. So here in this scene, I'm noticing a really cool leading line to this guy smoking. I think this scene works really cool because you got the leading line of the shadow to the guy smoking, and it's also kind of covered his face as well, which looks really cool. I'm gonna aim to meter for the highlights here, so you can see in this shot, that I've got the shadows completely blackened out and then the camera's exposing for the brighter side of the frame. So I've just noticed a really cool looking scene that you'd be able to use different photometry modes. So I'm gonna flip it around again. I can see here, you've got a big stream of light coming through. You've got a bit of foreground here. So you can get some backlit subjects or you can get some people walking through there. So both will work, and choosing a different photometry mode will get a totally different looking shot. So it's all about finding like these harsh shadows. So you can see right now, I'm in total sunlight. So photographing with the spot metering mode in this kind of condition would make a really cool looking photo. Like always, typical setup for me, Fujifilm X-E4 with the 35mm. Shooting with this photometry mode has been quite different for me. I am not usually used to it, and it has been quite a bit of a learning curve. So if you do decide to go out and try, I would definitely give yourself a bit of grace. Another thing I want to mention, guys, is in your camera settings, head to interlock spot A and focus area. This is in your autofocus manual focus settings. The reason for this is that that's going to make sure that your focus box is aligned with the exposure. So what this is going to do is like wherever you move your focus is where it's going to detect and meter the exposure. Obviously you can get creative and change it up, but personally this is how I have mine set up and I'm finding it really easy. And now right now you might be thinking this is all really technical, but let me share with you exactly where I was just a few weeks ago and you're probably going to relate. So before spot metering, my images lacked quite a lot of depth. I really hate to say it, but looking back with a bit of objectivity, it is quite clear. They were just bright, vibrant travel photos with all the shadows lifted. And in the hotel and interior work that I was doing, I never really knew how to meter light correctly. And as a result, the photos I was getting were looking quite flat and just a little bit too bright. Now look, I'm still really proud of these photos and I'm really happy with how they turned out. At the end of the day, the clients were stoked with them. They really loved them. They shared them and posted them. But for me, there was just something little that was missing and I was trying to work out what it was. And it wasn't until I studied a bunch of different photos and styles that I really liked that I kind of found out what was going on. See, I think whenever I saw a photo with more shadows and unique streaks of light, I was just instantly drawn to them. They looked like they were on another level, and this is exactly what I wanted to try and replicate in my work. And between looking at new gear and different editing techniques to achieve this look, it wasn't until I found this setting that really helped me evolve. Because there's a massive difference between a photo that was just snapped and one that was created. This shift, funny enough, is actually in line with what I'm learning the clients I want to attract are really interested in. Images that feel more inviting and luxurious rather than bright and vibrant is kind of the direction I want to take with things. I talk all about editing in the last module of my course, Capture to Keep. So if you're keen to find your style and improve your editing, you can find the link to Capture to Keep below. So overall by now, you could probably see how much the photometry settings on my camera are changing how I shoot. If this made you think differently about lighting or your approach to photography, I would definitely recommend checking out my last video on my 35mm, which is helping me slow down and shoot a lot more intentionally. I will link that next. And like I said earlier, if you want a deeper dive into improving your photography as a beginner, check out my course, Capture to Keep below. But otherwise, guys, if you've got any questions, like always, leave a comment below and I'll see you in the next video.